Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Come on in here. We are super excited to have you coming in today for this book review. I have a special guest here with me today. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Come on in. So whether you are viewing via Facebook, YouTube, or Periscope, I am excited to have you here. I know people are viewing as far away as Nigeria, Bahamas, Jamaica, Canada, of course, here in the United States. So I'm just happy to have you all viewing today. And I have my guest here, Dr. Barbara Williamson, and we're going to talk about my book, Build Your Best Life. And you'll have opportunity to find out some things about the book. And she has read it, and I can't wait to see what she thinks about it. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. So, but before we dive into the book, Barbara, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, I just want to thank you for inviting me. This is so exciting to be here, and I love the book and can't wait to talk about it. I am a coach and have worked with people, helping them with their potential. That's part of my passion. And I love to see people achieve things they never thought possible. And that's why I love what you're doing in your book. I think it's so exciting because it's spot on. It's just so reflective of your values and who you are.
Well, thank you. All right. So first of all, can you tell us how did you get your copy? Because there are different ways that you can get it. How did you get your copy?
Well, first of all, I knew you were working on this book. You had shared this with me, and I was so excited. I couldn't wait till it finally came out. I actually ordered it from you, and I wanted to get it because I knew the topic you were writing on, and knowing you, I know how your heart is, and I knew this book would be reflective of your heart and your passion. So I had to get it, but I ordered it, and you sent it to me. You sent it to me in the mail, which was easy and wonderful, and I paid for it online, which is just fantastic. So it was a very easy process.
Great, thank you. Well, as you know, my platform comes out of my passion to see young men overcome obstacles to build their best lives. What are your thoughts about this? Do you feel that this is something that is needed today?
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, but part of my background, I worked in social work years ago, and some of my clients and the people I work with were single moms trying to take care of kids, and I often was saddened by the fact that sometimes there was not a couple or a parent, two parents in the household to help them. And especially for the young men, there weren't sometimes a positive male role model in the household. And the single moms, of course, did the best they could. They worked hard. They did what they could. But I think it's so important to have that male figure in the house. And if they can't have that, then I think what you're doing in this book is such a wonderful way for people to get advice and to help them build their best life. And I like, I like the positive note that you have in the book. It's a realistic book. You tell it like it is, but you also give such good, practical, inspiring information in it. So I think, especially these days, we all need some hope with everything we got going on, at least here in the States for sure, and with COVID. And but I think kids, especially young people, need someone to help them navigate through tough times, and all the messages in your book do that.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I know you have read the book, so in there, is there a favorite chapter you had, or a story that was memorable, anything that just jumped out at you?
Well, that's hard for me to answer because I had several. I mean, I loved all of it, but I think one of the chapters that I really enjoyed. I took some notes here, so I tried to do my homework. I knew I wanted to be a good student for you, but the chapter 4, the one on developing skills and talents. I've done a lot of coaching and career development work, and I've tried to help people with their careers and figure out what they want to do. And I love the way in that chapter you talked about assessment of your strengths. I so agree with you that I think we each have unique talents, and just finding that unique gift that we have is so important. And in that chapter, you emphasize that about looking at your passion, looking at your best strengths, and also looking at your weaknesses. I think it's important that people are comfortable knowing that none of us are good at everything, like you said. You told so many good stories, the Kobe Bryant story, Edison, Michael Jordan, about how just sometimes things don't work. We don't succeed at first, but then just sticking to it and perseverance and working hard, and it pays off. The other thing I like, let's see what else in that one. I love the emphasis on goal setting, self-responsibility, ongoing learning, because even if whatever class we finish, I found, at least in my life, that you have to keep learning.
Right.
And I know you're a proponent of ongoing learning too, and I think that sending that message is important to kids. The other thing I liked too, the other chapter that I really liked was chapter 7, which was about life as a series of decisions.
Yeah.
That to me is so such a wonderful point. And you said on page, I think it's 91, there was a particular quote that at the end of the book where you did a lot of summarizing, I think, which was good. But I love that part where you said, when you came into the world, you generated the beginning of your dash. That to me is so powerful. That and when you look at it that way, we all have a dash.
Right.
When we're born and when we depart this world. And what we do in between, I think, is so it's based on, like, as you said, the decisions we make.
Right.
So I loved I also loved the back of the book where you gave a place for people to identify their own goals, kind of a workbook approach. And I think spending some time quietly with yourself, just thinking about, well, what are my goals? And you did such a nice job of laying that process out so somebody could work through it.
Oh, well, thank you. Good evening, Dan, Monetta, and Peggy. Thank you for tuning in. I have Dr. Williamson here with me, and we are reviewing this book. She is bringing out some good stuff.
Well, it's some good stuff. I can't help but it's all good stuff.
Yeah, but it's interesting. You know, you talked about the chapter about, decisions, and it was so funny. Of course, nobody on here would know this, but at my former company that I worked for so many years, I was at a point in my life where I was trying to decide what was it that I wanted to do. Did I want to continue to work where I was working? Did I want to retire, or what did I want to do? But I had worked in the same department for the entire, just about, I guess, maybe for a year and a half. I did not, but for the rest of my 30 plus years, I had worked in the same department. So it was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to stay here, or am I going to leave, or whatever? And then talking to one of our senior VPs is how you and I got connected. So,
Yep.
That was making that decision. No, I don't think I want to retire. I got some more in me, but what am I going to do?
Right.
So making that decision, and, we began working as coach and mentee, and we became friends. So, you know, the decisions you make.
Well,
What can I say?
yes, I agree. And I always felt like, especially, I feel like with you, especially, we learn from each other. I mean, you taught me so much. You've been such an inspiration. So I've been always respectful of everything you've done. You hit challenges straight on, and you don't give up till you succeed. And so you're just a powerful role model for all of us.
Well, thank you. Okay. So you read, we can tell that you have really read the book, because you can tell us even about the back, and places where people can do goals. And this time of year, it's a great time to do goals. I'm actually this month doing, I'm on a series of building, what building materials you need to build a great life. And this month we're talking about goals. Goals are one of those building materials.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's amazing that you did bring that up. So saying, you know, that there is a place in this book. But other than that, what is a good reason that you think, you know, someone should get this book?
Oh gosh. Well, you know, you talk about goal setting too, especially right now. I think with given the world situation with COVID, I mean, we're all having to readjust our lives in terms of how we live, and if you're abiding by the health suggestions of most of us are isolated or staying at home, or kids are having to, a lot of them being homeschooled or staying at home. And I think it's given us a chance and a way to do some self-reflection about what's really important to us. For some of us, I think we've given an opportunity to say, well, you know, family's really important. I knew that, but even now, even more so. Or, and I think using this opportunity to do some self-reflection and set some goals that are really important. I know your book is written for young men in that audience, but I think there's so many messages in this book for all of us. We all could set some goals.
Excuse me. Thank you.
And the reason why I think it's so important too, I think that so much of what you say in here gives inspiration and hope. And I think that we need hope. And young men especially, it depending on their circumstances and other role models they have, I think the message you give is that we can always change our circumstances, that our past does not define our future. And I love that message you consistently give. And I think that that's just a wonderful reason for the book, can give somebody a roadmap to be inspired and to have hope about how their future can be. And they do have control to create, as you say, their best life. So you, and I think too, giving it as a gift would be so nice, because you never know what tiny seeds of encouragement, what kind of impact that can make on somebody's life, you know.
Right.
And there's so many wonderful words and quotes and messages in here that just even one of them can change somebody's course of their life. So it's a wonderful book. And you're realistic. You don't sugarcoat things. You tell it like it is, which is good. I like that.
Okay. Well, recently, I was being interviewed, and I was talking about, I think it's very important for mothers to sit down and have those honest conversations with their sons. You know, of course, dads do as well, but then from the mom's perspective, they know, females and how we think or whatever. So now, what are your feelings about that? I mean, is that just something that, is it like a Deborah-ism, that is just something I think, or do you think that it's universal?
Well, I think a lot of your Deborah-isms are great. I think you hear those Deborah-isms. I love that. No, I agree with you. I think that we need that female young men need that female perspective because, we can get biased about, well, who's the smarter sex. Women sometimes can be said, well, we're really smarter in terms of emotions or knowing feelings, and yet I know many men who are just as capable of understanding emotions and feelings. But women do have a different perspective, and I think young men need to be able to have that relationship with their moms or whoever that important female is in their life, so they can go to, ask them questions, confide in them if they're confused about something or if they got a problem. I think it's important to have that close bond and ability to have tough conversations and honest conversations so that you trust and you feel like you got somebody to talk to. But definitely, I think the female perspective, and of course, as you said, I think that the conversations with the dad or the male role model are so important too, so that kids and young men or young girls feel like they have somebody they can talk to always.
Yes.
Deborahism.
Yes, and I always talk about the young men and the things that they, say and do and how they act and interact with others. But I just think it's important for, them to be able to be open because, a lot of times they're told that, you don't show emotions, men don't cry, or whatever, but it's okay to cry.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Not evident.
Yeah, I know. My husband is a great guy, and he sometimes is much more empathetic and understanding about feelings than I am. I just say, okay, well, just toughen up, and he'll say, no, you need to look at it from this perspective. So I think, it's important that men are able to show their emotions because that's healthy and normal and natural, and so. Yeah, I think we all can cry if we need to or express how we're feeling. That's an important part of life.
Yeah. So another thing that I talk about in my book is that everyone has someone that is assigned to help them. When I'm talking about these building materials, the first one was association. So of course, now not everybody that wants to be in your space needs to be in your space because everybody's not good for you. But I do believe that everyone has someone that is assigned to help them. And I believe that those people can come from all walks of life. So I know that you have helped many people. So what is your thoughts about that?
Well, I appreciate you saying that about me. I know I enjoy, as I said in the beginning, my passion is always to try to help people be their best or be who they want to be and know their potential. And as you're saying so much in the book, not let obstacles get in the way. But I also, there's a couple of places in the book where you talk about asking for help, which I think is so important that young men feel like that they are aware enough of the people around them. Because I think sometimes if you just ask somebody, if you see somebody doing something that's a good role model and that they have a skill or a talent or a value, or you see them handling a situation well, and so you think, well, gosh, how'd they do that? I would encourage young men to say, hey, I'm trying to learn how to do that. Would you help me? And I think you mentioned this in the book too. I found most people are so willing to help somebody else, to help them learn. It's almost flattering sometimes,
Right.
that somebody would ask you. And if you ask and the person isn't willing to, then just keep going. Don't worry about it. Find somebody else.
Yes.
But yeah, I think we're all put on this earth to help each other out, be the best we can be. And I hope and pray that everybody, as you say, has many people around them that can help them. And because I think we all have periods in our life when we are down or discouraged, and we need a helping hand. We need someone to listen to us and give us some suggestions. And I think that's what we're here to do. So
Great. Thank you. Well, I really appreciate you coming on Build Your Best Life today. You have given us some good insight on what's in the book, why someone should even purchase the book. So I thank you for that. But as we close, is there another takeaway that you would like to share that you thought about maybe?
yeah, I got two things. One was you asked me a question about a story in the book I like, and I forgot to mention this. That story about Mr. Thomas and the teacher, the math teacher, I think, and
Right.
took the class out, and he wanted to take them out for pizza, and some of the kids had never had pizza and they didn't want it, and he encouraged them to try it. Try something new. And I loved in your book about, you said, well, sometimes we need to open our eyes to see the possibilities. And I think sometimes when people get discouraged, or if they hadn't had role models, they can't even envision themselves in certain positions where they're successful. So I think that's why that goal setting or being around positive images and role models is so important. So you can actually see yourself being different. I think that's kind of the first step. So I love that story where just eating pizza can open up new opportunities, And I think I remember too, there was a time when you and I talked about I think it was making speeches, and you got interested in Toastmasters, I think, didn't you? And you actually, you just took that opportunity, and I think, went to one meeting, and the next thing I knew, you were the president of the chapter. I mean,
yeah.
But my takeaway, I think my real takeaway is back at you. It's truly, especially at Christmas time here. I love Christmas for the season, the reason that it is the season, and everything about it. But to me, my takeaway is what a gift you are, and this book is to us. You model so many of the positive qualities for others to emulate. You and your story. I mean, you're quite a story. How many people have written a book? And I think when I know you and see you, whenever you set a goal, you work very hard until you accomplish it. And I think just that example is such a good role model. So I just thank you for doing what you're doing, for the fact that you wrote this book. I hope that it will just continue to flourish and reach and get into the hands of many people who need it and will read it and enjoy it and learn from it. But I think, especially at Christmas, it'd be a great gift for folks. So I think you and the book and your work are really like a shiny little gift under the Christmas tree. So that's how I see it. So I want to thank you and Dan too. Dan's been such a good support to you. So we have to give credit to Dan too, and your family. So, but I just appreciate you, Deborah.
Well, thank you so much. And I really do appreciate you taking the time, because I know everyone is busy, and with everything that's going on, you have limited time, and, here I got you connecting to a new streaming platform today.
I know, I love it. This is great. I'm impressed. I had not used this before, and you'd see you teaching me. You continue to teach me. So I love it. Yes. Well, I hope you will take care of yourself and stay well, and everybody out there listening will stay well and have a Merry Christmas or happy holidays, whatever they celebrate, and just continue to have peace and helping each other out.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And again, you can get my book on my website, and my website is www.buildyourbestlife.org. That's www.buildyourbestlife.org. And if you go on there, you can get your autographed copy. But if you're in a hurry to start reading, you can get it from Amazon.com as well, and BarnesandNoble.com. but it's not going to be autographed. But either way, I appreciate it. And again, thank everybody for tuning in. And Dr. Williamson, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. And I go get this book. You better get it before it runs out.
So as you go on your way to being a better you, you will run into distractions, rough terrain, and detours. Don't let any of those negative aspects stop you. Keep going. Although they may slow you down, don't let them stop you. Keep going to be a better you and build your best life. Thank you. Have a good evening. Be blessed.
Thank you. Enjoyed it. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.